Hi, Scott.
Hello. Hi, Nancy Jean.
Hi to all the lovely people in the community. I saw your lovely emojis, Gigi. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So you were
Guess
doing
who?
some. You were
Guess
doing
who was in
some.
my neighborhood last night?
Who's that?
Donald Trump. He
He
was
was.
down in Texas, probably taking notes from Ken Paxton, who was indicted 7 years ago and still hasn't been brought to trial for stock fraud.
I know
So
that's crazy. What the heck?
the guy who's running for our Secretary of State didn't get one endorsement. The Republican didn't get one endorsement. He's been in the job 6 years. You think we figured out who he is by now?
Are people waking up that he ran away?
No, that's the one that was talking to Trump that's been around for 7 years. I mean, the one that's been indicted 7 years ago. He's the one who ran. That's Ken Paxton.
Right.
Yeah, no. There's two different guys. We have two of them that are chief executive officers here that have real bad problems. And Paxton's are the worst. And his wife's in the legislature. Unfortunately, she sits in a legislative seat that's very near where I live. So she's another one of those politicians you can't call. So if you
Right.
want any help, she has like no constituent help because
Oh,
we don't want to
crazy.
waste money on taking care of people.
Yeah, I didn't even notice where the former guy was, but he was doing a rally thing in Texas again, huh?
Yep, and they said it was so tiny that his security guards were not letting cameramen into certain because if they took a picture across, you'd see how tiny it was. But they said the spookiest thing was when he wasn't getting the rousing what he expected because there are just a very few people there. He he they said at least it was on a lawn this time because it's in a county fair park where they do that. And they said that he when he got people started seem to be drifting off, he played that weird QAnon music that
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
like sounds like music out of a 1930s Russian movie. And people were all they were started singing our national anthem with that weird music in the background, holding their fingers up in the air. And since I had my parents actually paid for me to get a bachelor's degree in broadcast film, guys. So I spent the last 2 years watching historic movies and doing that stuff. I saw all of Leni Riefenstahl, who did all of the documentaries for Hitler. She's a brilliant filmmaker. She was the only one of his major group that was never charged with anything. And but her movies, I've seen it. I've seen it when all of a sudden everybody does all these things. And I've watched little bits from his rally. I turn the sound off because I don't want to hear him. But it looks just like that.
Yeah, that's nuts. I was
Hmm.
watching I listened to Obama's speeches. So inspiring.
I know.
They were great.
Hmm.
He was in Michigan, Milwaukee, and
Hmm.
Georgia.
Yep.
So good. It's like if we could have all our Democrats running speak like that, it'd be mesmerizing. Except for the, you know, diehards. But yeah, I can't believe Texas even bring him back because he still owes El Paso like $500,000.
He owns El Paso, but that's why he's having all of his rallies in outdoor spaces like that kind of fairground because there's almost no cost to it except security, and all security firms down here won't work for him until he pays them. He has to pay up front, so they're not getting ripped off.
Oh, what the heck? Um, since we're talking about
Where are we going?
Trump rallies, I got a question about that.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, he's will his rallies have any effect, and will something happen? Meaning, like, is he gonna have like some weird thing happen where he like really misfires or something too? Because I had this sense we're gonna see one of these rallies like he's way off kilter. You know, kind of like the bad slurring. You know, he can't walk. Those kind of things. So I have a sense like one of them's something's gonna happen. Like one of them, kind of like a clue.
I mean, like they took the little baby Trump balloon and they blew it up too much and it exploded over the crowd.
It's more like him.
I know.
You know, like something happens to him.
Okay, I'll look at it. Surprised these cards even shuffle after yesterday.
Yeah.
I haven't read a 9-hour day of tarot in a long time. That's why my voice is a little rough, guys.
Yeah, okay. Then Debo said the second one, when these rallies coming to an end. Okay. Is there going to be a misfire? Some kind
of... It's not going to happen in the rallies. What I see happening is he's doing it for the money to make people feel like he's out there, and it's stalled. I think what they say, his last accounting for his funds, they've lost $13 million. How could they lose that much money? But anyway, and he's doing it to put himself on the defensive, to build a better defense for himself. But something surprising is about to come out of the air, and it's not at his rallies, but it involves imprisonment and that he's no longer in control. So I don't think I think he's going to misfire when he gets arrested.
It has something to do with traveling. The first card out I got was the Chariot. So it ain't when he's speaking.
No.
But it has something to do when he's traveling. With the Chariot, then I have Queen of Coins, and then some kind of news. Like he might have to be getting on a plane or something. There's some kind of news of possibly he might get tipped off or something about getting indicted or something here with the Knight of Coins. He hears something.
All he has to do is watch the national news.
Yeah. It's like he wants to flee here.
Yeah, but he can't.
Right. It's something about getting on his plane. There's some kind of news about money. I'm not seeing the rally thing, but there's some kind of travel going on where he really gets freaked out, possibly indicted there.
Okay. When he lands his plane and he's getting off. Oh, let's see. I'm going to say, will there be rallies in 3 months? Okay. Is that okay for that question, do you think?
Sure. I'm gonna sense after the election. Like I was reading the article about the company going bankrupt that was organizing it all. And all these people that come are getting paid speaker fees, and he's getting a bunch of money for speaker fees. When under 1,000 people come, you can't afford to pay that clown a ton of money.
No. And they're not going to make it off of the vending, when they sell stuff.
The red hats and that crap. Yeah. Okay, rallies coming to the end. So maybe you can know some timing.
I got a yes. They'll end in 3 months because nobody wants to come be part of the family anymore. And others sees more control of him than he has of himself. And he can't defend himself anymore. There's no defense left. And he's walking away from a long battle. He's just burnt out. And because he's going to be in stormy seas, so he's going to be fighting in courts. He's not going to be, he's going to get locked to jurisdictions, I think, that he can't travel. Ankle monitors only work within a certain area,
Yeah.
So,
Well, how do we decipher this? So I asked, the rally is going to end after the election.
mm-hmm.
The outcome is that he's locked up.
Yeah. I've got that. My thing was he couldn't get where he wanted to go.
So there's the universal energy has something going on with a new path with him. Creator, Knight of Wands, and Page of Coins. The Page of Coins is my new path, new facility, new something going on.
Mm-hmm.
The energies of the universe are working for us. And it's kind of a mystery with the creator. Something manifests, something happens. The soul contract comes due kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
His health goes backwards.
That's what I was seeing. I'm going to use the Housewives Tarot to see if it's his health.
Yeah. With the Hermit here in the Sun, and I feel like the Ace of Coins here is backwards. So it's, even though I read upside, I'm feeling like it's bad health, and then the Hermit kind of being locked up in bad times, things come to light. So things get moving, I sense. With
yeah. What I see is this is the Seven of Wands in the Housewives deck, and what this means is you've got tools. You need to clean a toilet. Toothbrushes aren't the right tools. So this is someone who knows what the task is, but they don't have the tools. That's a yes. That it's going to be his health. It's going to come out of his own darkness. The illness is going to be manifest out of that. It's when he feels stymied and that he can't move. These are all yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
And it's coming from the Queen of Swords. So I think it may be I think it's going to be the one in Georgia coming for him. And then there's going to be all kinds of talk, 8 of Wands, all kinds of talk, things moving around. But he's stuck, and it is his health. That's a yes, 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 yes. That's 6 yeses on his health falling apart right after the election.
The Magician, or my Creator card, is also my Doctor card, too.
Oh, okay.
So it could be it. Good morning, Kevin. Thank you for stopping by. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of people have voted. So going to that, I had a question. So we had good polls early, right? Democrats have movement. Now everything is polling towards Republican for some reason. Are these polls accurate?
I can't tell you how I know, but I know from people who are doing on-the-ground polling, they're not weeding their phone records to where they're only picking up little old people like me. I have friends who are running walking campaigns in major states that are asking on the ground when they knock on someone's door.
Right.
And their numbers match what the numbers I'm carrying in my head about what people really care about. Matter of fact, one of the people called me and said, I'm sending you a chart. You can't show it to anyone, but I want you to look at it. Is this real? And I looked at it. I called back. I said, yeah, honey, it's real. Why? And she said, that's exactly the numbers you quoted to me 6 months ago. And so I think it's, I can tell you the issues are, they're bread and butter home issues, not false economy issues, which they know some of their local people can't really help with all that much. But
Mhm.
there's almost all are personal, my personal safety, my voting rights, my human rights. And it's, Scott, I've been looking at polls since I was a kid because my mom used to be a Republican. I've never seen polls like this. So I have, and you got to realize all the polls you're seeing, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing me say this, it's based on most likely voters. Well, anyone between the age of 18 and 24 who had never registered before can't be a likely voter. They're just a registered voter. And it's actually the amount of people under the age of 40 that have registered to vote are not being counted in this. And
Mhm.
they feel so many of these issues on a more visceral level than we do. I tell you, honest to God, the last time the polls were really kind of right was when Obama ran. And then people have figured out how to jigger with the polls. So,
It's just weird how all these outlets put out these polls. I understand who answers the phone and da da, but it makes no sense why it's been favoring the GOP.
all of the major networks, all major news outlets in this country are owned by 6 groups, and 5 of them don't want Democrats to win. You know, so
Right. In my mind, I kind of hear they're about 8 points off, probably. I
12,
think 12. Wow.
12, and really in places where the, and see, I met last night. He was a nice man, but he was there helping with the band. He was so proud, and he's a retired EE, so he's somewhere near my age, and he didn't have on a red hat, so I didn't know what was coming towards me. And he was totally MAGA, and he jumped me about critical race theory, and he said, "What proof do you have that that's even ever happened in a school?" Oh, Youngkin, he's got this. I said, "Well, then what did Youngkin tell you?" And he looked at me and he said, "Well, he's the governor. He won." And I said, "Trust me, I've seen a lot of really sleazy politicians win. That gets no water with me." And so finally he said, "Well, what do you know about it?" And I said, "Didn't you read the major article in February in Wall Street Journal about how when they went in to see if it was actually published printed material appropriate for schools that have been presented in any grade school in the whole of the U.S., much less the state of Virginia, they couldn't find where it was being used anywhere." And he goes, "The Wall Street Journal printed that?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't remember the date, but yeah, it's there somewhere." And that made him shut up. Now, I want y'all to know, I will admit it right now, that's a bold-faced lie. Wall Street Journal never said that. I have seen other educational journals I do trust who have done that kind of research, but he wanted the Wall Street Journal. So, but it meant I didn't have to hear that anymore. And I'm just to that point, guys. I don't want to hear it. And I never run into them. Otherwise, he was a totally lovely man who couldn't figure out why any of his daughters won't speak to him. Really?
Yeah. Some people go crazy. I don't know if he wants to talk about it, but my dad's neighbor on the farm, he was very QAnon MAGA, big time.
Oh,
Heck of a nice guy. He would see my dad in the store, at the local cafe. He'd bring reports to him. Look at this. Look at this. Trump's coming back or whatever. The poor man ended up taking his own life. It was that bad.
mm-hmm.
So, and I know 2 other people in that same realm that took their own life too.
That's what this is going to be a real, when this all falls apart, it's going to be a real Jim Jones moment. And I'm not going to jump up and down. I told the man, actually, when I was talking to him, this was totally honest. I said, what hurts me the most is to see how people will let politics split their family up. But trust me, after 10 minutes with this guy, I wouldn't want to talk to him either, if it was related to him. And I'm so grateful my parents died before I ran Obama's campaign, because I would have had to hear it if I wanted to talk to them. So I regret that happens, but you know, at least we're still talking to each other, unlike what happened to Pelosi's poor husband. That's what worries me the most. Those unhinged.
Yeah, it's it's saddening,
Yeah.
that there's no critical thinking, to process what's fact and reality, to be in that rabbit hole.
Did you hear the Chicago school district just put in, and they require from day one that a child enters their curriculum that they have a lesson on critical thinking every day. And I know the curriculum they're using because we used it with my youngest when we homeschooled. It's brilliant.
There,
And then what Kathy's writing about is true. That's 40% of the Gen Z have already registered, and they've never voted before. So they're not being counted in any of these polls. They're saying as if everybody who voted in 2020 is going to vote. They're not counting the outrage that's happened since.
yeah, it's out there. It's unfortunate. I was either seeing a video or something. This mother was talking to her daughter,
Mm-hmm.
18, and just brought up the question about QAnon.
Mm-hmm.
And mom goes, QAnon's not real. And she would
Mm-hmm.
never knew anything about what her daughter believed politically or whatever, but she was stunned. Just couldn't. It's like, where did you go? What hole did you go down? It fractured their relationship.
Yep.
And the young daughter, 19, wouldn't believe it. Couldn't get it in her what facts are. Okay. Let's check this again. I want to go a little closer. Yeah. The youth are coming out like crazy. I mean, it's going to be shocking. I think it will be shocking once we see the results. It's just kind of scary, seeing the polls but you look at what was it? The crowd. Where was it? I can't remember what event, but there was wall-to-wall people, all full for either Obama or someone else. And then you look at other rallies, there's no one there.
Mm-hmm.
Mastriano or whoever, there's hardly anyone there. So, like I was telling my Nancy the other night about, you have 40% Republican, always going to vote that way, 40% Democrat. It's the middle. You need to get on one side or the other.
Mm-hmm.
There's just some Republicans that never change. They'll just vote that way. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's kind of weird too. Because in Kansas, at the thing, that 60% or whatever said no to that, for the reproductive rights. But polling has the Republican governor winning by a bunch. So why would they all vote there, but want that Republican governor to stay?
I've seen that woman's neck and neck with him too. That's running against him. This is
Like
what
I
I'm
said,
telling
like I said, the polls say he's up by 15 or 20.
you. Yeah, but they
I know it's
polls,
crazy.
polls lie, and just, go vote what you want to have happen. Don't vote. Part of this is that mentality that I always hated when I was a kid. You got to love your high school football team, go kill the other guys, that sort of tribal. I'm
Right.
like, I don't really care if they win or not. I hope they play the best game they can. But, why? And, why should I get my whole life wound up around them? And of course, I grew up in a town that had other things you could do other than football on Friday nights. But I never saw anything like the tribalism when I came down here. And they're just educating people into feeling that way. And, you always go with the team that wins. You got it. You hang on, and you change with the wind that way. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I like to see people perform the best they can. And as long as they're not performing the best they know how and infringing on my rights, I'll let them do what they want to do and not scream about it too much. So, how are they going to feel? I'm going to do 2 rows. I'm not going to,
Yeah, that's best.
I don't want to mix their energies. Actually, I'm going to use the housewife rows for the Dems. And I'm going to use my regular deck for the Republicans. I'm surprised my poor little cards still shuffle.
Cheated lanes.
Oh, here.
Democrats in January. After swearing in, how do the Democrats feel after swearing in?
Okay, you want to keep laying and I'll talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
They're going to be looking at themselves and saying, now, how are we going to carry this forward? That's a yes, that they're going to be feeling good. They've got the Emperor, and this is the Emperor, like the Emperor card in our deck. So they're going to feel like they're in charge. Big chunks of them are going to feel 9 of Pentacles energy. I'm in here. I've got everything I need. I've got all the conveniences in the world going on around me. But they're a little split. The Wheel of Fortune's reversed. They have to produce now, and they have to produce with the legislature they have. But they're going to be able to keep their party together to do it. I think that's their biggest fear is as soon as they win, then you've got my group over here saying, nah, 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 nah. I mean, it really is true. I hate the statement, but I don't belong to an organized political party. I'm a Democrat. So that's going to rear its ugly head. But how the Republicans are going to feel, they're going to be in the back room plotting how are we going to take this back over. They're going to be leaderless with no direction. They're going to try to figure out how they can end up all the petty bickering between them. No one is large and in charge. No, it's completely out of control. And they're going to dream of the halcyon days when they could do whatever they wanted. But they're not going to be looking. I think they're going to sit in the corner and they're going to be plotting. We're going to take it all back. We're going to screw everything up. I just wish we'd indict the ones that were involved with January 6th, and that would give the Democrats a better number in the House.
There's weird energy. There's weird energy going on. I honestly can't get a sense with the cards what's going on here. Because I have the Page of Cups, Knight of Cups, but then I have the Devil in between it for the Democrats.
Yeah, they have a devil of a dilemma. They have people that are so tied to their positions and they have such a big tent. How do you get them all filtered towards something that's realistic?
The Democrats?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, these are good cards surrounding it, but there's some kind of problem in the middle.
That's when people get into majority, they can get fractious. Republicans get in line. Democrats have to fall in love with what's going on. There's going to start to be some.
It almost feels like there's chaos yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh well, I don't. I think they're going to have all these states pushing the elections weren't right and all that crap. They just have to kind of put that behind them and say, I was the one who was sworn in and I'm here voting for it, But there's going to be chaos because if the woman who's running for governor really wins in Oklahoma, there's going to be chaos between her and her legislature. And she's a former Republican, but she said, we just can't lie. And yet the local legislative bodies are willing to fall in line with that because that's what the party tells them they ought to do. And
Oklahoma, isn't that where that ex-girl communications girl is running?
No, that's Arizona. That's Arizona.
No,
Carrie Lake is running in Arizona.
Oh, you mean Arizona, not Oklahoma?
I'm talking about in Oklahoma, a woman who was a Republican switched parties, and she's running against a Democrat, and she's beating his butt because she's telling people the truth. If you live in a state that has one of the highest per capita murder rates, you know it. Because when you live in a state...
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So she's got to get the other people to come along and say, we just can't lie like this anymore. We have to look at where we really are. That's the other problem is when people start to look at where we really are, we are much better set up than other parts of the world to flow forward with an economy. But, if England's banks completely fold, that's going to be the only thing you can say for the European Union. They had Brexit, so they're not going to get dragged down with it. But it's going to stop a whole lot of stuff. So we're walking into a very different, there's going to be still some adjustments. But how are they going to feel? The Dems are going to feel great if they win by the margins I think they're going to win by. The GOP, if they can pull it up and make it closer to even, they're going to feel better about it. But there's still a bunch of lying thieves. So, for entertainment purposes only.
Okay. Karen Bass.
Nice lady.
Rick Caruso is a businessman.
Yeah, and he switched parties 6 times in the last 14 years.
Yes. Show me who's where. Kind of get a clue. I asked for the image who gets sworn in, so I kind of look who's raising their hand. It looks like to me Bass is getting sworn in.
Yeah, I see her. She went through a lot of contemplation before taking this on about where she'd worked and whether she was effective. I know as a legislature in the U.S. Congress, she felt very unempowered to make real changes for her people. And she's not a control freak, which I think as people understand, she's probably there for them. This is what they really understand. She wants to improve things in LA, make some real changes. She's going to walk away from the battle unscathed, and then she's going to have the support and the money to do what she needs to do. That's 5 yeses and 1 no. So I think she's going to win.
My 3 for Karen. Knight of Cups, Angels Coming Through, and 10 of Cups. Those are all
Good.
3.
I think we agree.
She's in the home. She's in the position with the 10 of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
The people are going to choose love over greed. The Angels put on to the Knight of Cups. So I'm going with Karen.
Yep.
Okay. Military. Speaking of military, there was that reports out the one general that didn't help bring troops to January 6th never got his a Piat, I think his name is. The White House denied him being a 4-star.
Good.
But there was never anything about Flynn's brother. He got his promotion, but it was already in the works, I guess. But the other one never got his promotion as part of consequences of his actions. Okay. How many MAGA QAnon in the military ranks willing and waiting for orders to break off? Trump gives the signal. I think they got that under order. Who's the guy? Oh, what the heck's his name? The black gentleman, general, whatever. He's in charge of the military now. Lloyd. As soon as he got in there, it was all about desensitizing people from radical people in the military. They went full board on this. I don't think there's any military waiting for Trump's signal as far as military knowledge.
I'll look at it, but if you're looking at Senate races and you have $5 and you want to throw it somewhere, so throw it to Michael Franken in Iowa, because when he took over the Southern Fleet, the first thing he did was ban Fox Channel, because he said it's not news, it's entertainment, and we have a way of vetting that. And he said they're just not. So the whole time he was in charge of the Southern Command, he stopped those lies from getting poured in on the soul.
I think Franken's going to win.
I do too. I worked in Iowa for Obama, and I stayed with the family, and I spoke to the woman who we stayed with, and she said she hadn't been so excited since we worked in 2008 for Obama in Iowa. So
nice, Kevin. Kevin got Franken. Well, I did see your predictions, Kevin. I still want to do mine. I've seen some surprises. Also, when I was concentrating last night. Okay.
Oh dear, Scott, I don't like my answer.
Oh no.
They're all together in the same boat. They are just hanging fire and waiting for the right order. They're very foolish. Because they live in an authoritarian world, and they believe they don't really mix in the general populace. They're the ones that want someone to give the order, so they're not responsible for themselves. And their out card is the Queen of Pentacles, and that can mean it's a woman commander who knows more about this than she's talking about, or it's someone in high authority who seems to be clear thinking. So there are some that are still sitting there waiting. I guess my next question would be, are they delusional? And that's what I'm going to ask. But yeah, there's a segment of them that are there, and they're hard.
Yeah, I mean, I got the message has been put out. I do have a woman leader too you talked about coming in. But the message has been put out. So the amount of the ones and they evaluate. So the message has been put out about more compassion and the radicalism, right? In the end, I do have that too. There is a few in the ranks that be heartbroken when it all goes down. When their true leader comes to that 10 of swords and loss. When I feel like the government indicts and Republicans lose kind of feeling. So they're going to have an old crap moment here. So there's just, I don't sense a lot though. Because
I think there are some though who have been placed in places, and as long as you have Mike Flynn's treacherous brother anywhere near, the levers of control. You don't know what you have.
Definitely. Definitely. Now, I'd still be a little bit worried about some of these Proud Boys and whatnot because they're still showing up, those groups.
Mm-hmm.
Even though a bunch are getting indicted and whatnot, there's still a few clowns out there.
Mm-hmm. I've lived in Texas too long. They've always been here. I was shocked when I was in college and I met kids who whisper, "Oh yeah, my family's in the Klan." Really? I grew up in Illinois where we worshipped Abraham Lincoln. Thank you. What are you talking about?
I know, craziness. Just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I know, there's some things I've seen that really hit me kind of deep. And I wanted to put on Facebook. I ignored anything political or anything, but I didn't do it. I just kept it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to start any arguments again on Facebook. It just got too nasty. Okay. Alan.
It's about letting star shine in your soul. That's me on Facebook. I used to send every nasty cartoon on that I laughed at, and I don't even think they're funny anymore because by making them humorous, we desensitized ourselves to them. So, and on that happy note, what's going to happen to Alan Weisselberg? I'm just going to ask if you guys.
Did you read about?
Yeah, when we do a yes or no question, we can't do an either or. It's got to be a yes or no. So I'm going to ask us will he tell enough truth to keep himself from going to jail?
Okay. Oh, Weisselberg gonna be truthful. Yeah, they said it's gonna be about 5-week trial.
Mm-hmm.
The responses. There was news reporting of the responses people gave to be a juror.
Yeah, the board. That's called voir dire, and those things were hysterical. I mean, that was some of the best. Voir dire is not usually that interesting.
Okay, what happened? Alan Weisselberg. 5 months and 15 years. Alan Weisselberg getting into the trial.
I see that he enjoyed being the leader of the organization, but he's going to be dealing from his less high self. And then I get no. Will he tell enough truth? No, because he shared so much in it. No, because he doesn't have the strength to tell the truth. He's locked where he is. And because he doesn't particularly believe in justice. The man's a martyr. He thinks if he goes down for Trump will somehow take care of his own family. And I don't know how he thinks they're going to do that because there's not going to be a Trump org left.
I know, right? Makes no sense. Okay. I seen a reporting he's still on the payroll of the Trump org.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting money at first. I think it has something. I think Trump thinks he can still buy him off to not say anything, whatever. Because I got the Hierophant and then 9 of Pentacles and then Delusions.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Trump org is still paying him there, right? Then I have Temperance, the Emperor, and the Devil.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. Just hold on. It's gonna work out properly because the Devil's gonna come out here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What do I have in the end? I like these cards. They're a little dark.
Which deck is it?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
The Carnum or And then I think he tells the truth, though. He has to. I mean, it feels like he avoids what he can, but he's going to have to. Otherwise, the karma's going to come with Wheel of Fortune and loss. It's like he's going to be reminded, if you don't tell the truth, you're going to prison forever. And then I had the King of Cups and Seven of Swords. So, like, if he lies,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like conflicting here with these two together, right?
Right.
The King of Cups would be telling the truth, but then there's lies coming in here. So it isn't really telling me, like, it feels like he's going to avoid what he can, but in the end he has to. I'm not getting a prison sentence with this. It's like he avoids what he can, but he has to. Yeah, spellcasters. Thank you, Linda. But yeah, it needs to be pretty bright. It's kind of darkish, but because karma will come around with that Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, it feels like he's still getting bribed in the back end, but the alternative is worse. So I think in the end he's gonna fess up because he can be ordered 15 years.
Yeah.
And my imprisonment or judgment upon him didn't come out, but the truth teller was next to him there with the Seven of Swords at the end. So. Okay, Abbott. Okay, back to some starred. That's a rough one there.
No, yeah.
Because as far as Twitter goes, it doesn't. Elon Musk is being a tool. He's posting and retweeting propaganda himself, like he's a troll himself.
Yeah.
Anyway, any hearts changed on the underside is because of the unfortunate incident with Paul. Oh, good, Linda. Volunteering for canvassing for the Dems. Beautiful. Doing God's work. Doing God's work there. Bless you, honey. Changing people. Independence.
Some, but not many. It's going to wake them up to as a matter of fact, it's going to actually put some people off from wanting to vote. They're just going to feel like, yuck, I don't want to hear any of this. They feel it's seriously out of balance. Because to take that kind of stand would mean that they have to express their own power and their own understanding of power. And we just haven't educated people enough to understand what their power is as an individual voter. But the reason I say some, but not all, it's a 50-50 split. Some people will be moved by it, but other people will just unfortunately think that's what you get if you try to fly too high,
Yeah. Yeah, my sense isn't really.
It's not a deal.
It's not a deal breaker feeling, unfortunately. I got these people are delusional. That would some of them. But I was trying to sense on the independence. most of them already have their minds made up. The Six of Swords, Ten of Cups, and Delusional. That just feels like a lot of people's minds are all made up. The Democrats are calming. They want better times, but they had that side that's delusional. Oddly enough, I have. It would be really nice if the former guy had some major problems, but what's really going to change hearts is when that really happens. This is going away from Paul. The former guy finally has this tower moment. That's going to flip a lot more minds.
Okay.
I was feeling the independence that float with the tides, like, oh, I'm going to go in the county because,
What about the whack jobs with guns and hiding their faces and having nothing better to do than to watch a polling box?
Oh, those Arizona people mainly? Arizona polling. Arizona. Yes, it's coming sooner than you think. There's a lot of work to be done yet on that. A lot of investigations with 35. As far as Georgia,
I've had a feeling that those vigilantes, that whole story, makes some people feel trapped, makes them afraid to go out. And we need the authorities to step in and stop them from doing it. They're not going to do that easily. The fact that the thought's even out there is causing people anguish. But the high priestess is kind of working behind the scenes. It's kind of a time for people to look at their own souls. They'll find another way to get there. It'll just make them dislike the people that put them to even more inconvenience. Because at the end, I have the sun, and I have to read every card as positively as possible. So yeah, the first reaction to people is, I'm not going to go out there. Those evil people are out there, and then they're going to get pissed because someone's trying to tell them what to do. I think people see that more as a personal attack on them, having those guys with a personal threat to their own bodies, than an attack on Paul Pelosi, because they really don't think that someone's going to break in their house over their political beliefs. They're wrong if you look at how this works, but
Yeah, that's definitely intimidation there with Arizona and whatnot. 3 bad cards about it. 5 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and my mistake, Hermit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fighting, a lot of anxiety, a lot of problems, but someone's riding in. A lot of law and female energy with the Sword of Truth. They're going to try to change, but I kind of sense those people might not come back to the polls or just wait a little bit. They do want to vote that did go there if they're intimidated or feared.
I think they just won't use those ballot boxes. And Arizona is one of the states that counts its early ballots first. When on election night in Texas at 7:00, when the polls are closed, about 10 minutes afterwards, they do the big dump of early voting. Same thing happens in Arizona. So if they can stop and control that first download of good news, if it's good news for the Dems. Can we go somewhere else? I don't want to feel like someone's putting a hammer on my head or pointing a gun at me when I'm voting.
Yeah. Can't be normal in the USA. Aspie's wondering about our extraterrestrial friends.
Oh, okay.
I I'm going to grab my Oracle deck on that one.
That's what I'm going to grab too.
Within a year, we still have crazy elections. Why would they want to come now, Aspie? Half the country is still denying elections and believe the morons coming back to, to be president.
I find it easier and easier to believe in ETs the more I look at how Republicans behave.
I know, right?
I'd rather them, and I don't care if they do look like praying mantises, which my friends that do ETs, I just do unicorns and fairies and dragons. So, you know.
Morning, Deanne.
We all have a niche.
We need extraterrestrial poll watchers.
They are.
Right.
What I got is we should follow the wisdom of the positive elders. Now, that's the kind of freaky person I think they're going to look like. And I'm going to I have to look at that. But. And I think they're protecting us within spirit. So I think the spiritual lessons that we have absorbed about positive thinking and putting ourselves in a good space, that will help us with this problem. But I'm getting that we're going to see them. Well, we kind of see them if you know any hybrids already. So.
Yeah. The first question is, well, telling me technology is putting fear into us. Technology is great, but step away. Certain technology misinformation is putting fear into the people here. Yeah, like you said, they're already here.
Yeah.
But we want the question, when are they going to make themselves present? Presence
unquestionable. I mean, you got that story where all the European astronomers saw all the ETs flying over where they thought Russia was going to make the war hotter. And it was about a month ago. And they finally, they all got together and published a paper. We saw something flying over here that we have no idea what it was. But it stopped the conflict that was going on there. So, I mean, not all of Ukraine, but that one particular area.
Well, the reptilians might be a bit scary.
All right. Do you think it's a coincidence that reptilian and Republican start with the same letter?
No. Mostly not. There's no coincidences. No coincidences, right? When in my mind, I don't think it's till like 2027 or 2028 maybe of actual disclosure. I just think the world is too chaotic. Purity coming in, male ancestors. So, yeah, so I have purity. It's there. I have male ancestors around us, and then have a cry. It's too chaotic to me right now. I just don't sense anytime soon because it's too chaotic on Earth. We need purity. We need cleansing. And we need proper balance in the universe. With a male ancestor here. It's too chaotic for actual disclosure. I just don't sense it yet. We need more awakened, more enlightened. Remember that scene? Was it Independence Day where everyone goes on top of the roof? You know, take me, and they all get this exploded.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. all of these people that are down those rabbit holes, they all be going crazy. I don't, we need more enlightened people before this will happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's no coincidences. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of rabbit holes.
Oh, Jesus. Do we have to? Well, I'm gonna let the 50s housewives loose on this guy.
So yeah, it's a losing cause, honestly, for him to follow through this deal. They were saying it hasn't made a profit in years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's throwing out 44 billion. There's rumors that Saudi backed him on this.
I'm sure they did. Russia built itself into Facebook and some of those other channels, and Saudis were not clever enough to get in line to do that. So this just means you're going to have to go back to talking to your neighbors and going to rallies with people from your area to see what politicians really say. I hate Twitter. I was on Twitter 2 days, and I responded to a post, and I got lambasted by this woman about a story I told about how we used to be so judged in the 70s if we had children. And the best job I got in the 70s, my daughter had been injured the night before, and I had to take her to the job interview. So I called him and said, I can't come. My 2-year-old was burnt yesterday. She can't go to daycare because she's on painkillers. They said, bring her in. We'll have the secretaries watch her while we interview you. I got the job. And, so I was like the one person I knew that not only did I have kids, which I wasn't trying to hide, I brought it with me, and and this woman wrote back and said, well, that's your one unique story. And then she brought in all these men who came in and said, man, we get so tired of hearing about women having to balance kids. And so, anyway, so I said, if this is what this world is like, I'm out of it. And that was when it was first up. So I don't do Twitter. And I hear people talk about it, and I'm like, fine.
I enjoy it, but if I don't like something or like someone, I just
make them go away.
It's kind of like here. You just find your family.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's being a jerk, block.
I guess since I was still raising children, last thing I needed was another group of counterproductive people talking to me.
Okay. I got the government is investigating him for certain money deals he's done.
Mm-hmm.
All the money's flowing. So I have investigation, 6 of coins, and judgment. So he's being investigated, FBI, FCC, whatever, about money transactions, money flowing. Could be crypto too. The truth of why will be exposed. Ace of Swords, Chariot, and 8 of Wands. It isn't going to be a good thing for him. He's going to lose money.
Mm-hmm.
The law, he's going to be in court. He's going to lose money. Knight of Wands. There's a battle coming for him.
Mm-hmm.
Losing lawyers. It ain't good for his other businesses too. Then I have a woman possibly owning it later because he's gonna need to get out. I have Queen of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, change of ownership, Emperor, lost. Elon loses Twitter, and then different energy comes in to own it to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
So I see court battles. I see loss. He's not making money on it. And the government will find out what's going on.
Yeah, and my housewives don't like him either. They said, in the background, he always felt like I can fix, I can tinker, I can make anything work. The master craftsman is at the base of this. That's what he thinks. He also thinks very highly of himself. He's got the sun. But in the middle right now today, He's already getting a spanking from the Queen of Swords, which I take is just he knows they're on his case, and he thought this would be his big triumph, and it's an empty cup. It's not working out for him. In the near future, it's going to get to be more burdensome for him to hold on to this. And yeah, I've got women all over this. He also has a Queen of Wands in the background who's telling him really what to do. He feels like they're telling him really what to do. It's very perverse. He also has the Ace of Wands, which is the starting of new things, but it's reversed. It's not working for him at all. He's going to want to go back to the quiet days before he did this silly thing, and he can't find a way to do that. But he's going to try to sneak away. He's going to try to sell it out or get away from the whole problem. But the devil made me do it ain't going to be a good defense. So he's going to get caught up in this. He's going to lose big. And I tell you where I know he's already lost bigly is in my kids' generation. They all said they'd rather walk than drive a Tesla. And there are so many other electric cars coming up. They said if we're going to go electric next time we buy a car, and it ain't going to be his.
Yeah, won't be.
He's really just screwed himself into a complete corner.
Yeah, he's going to lose money everywhere. I mean, the good people of the lands are not going to buy from
especially, I mean, my kids' war was the war that happened after 9/11, because they were in their teen years and early years when that happened. And anybody who gets in big business with the Saudis, they don't want any part of them. They do not view them. They don't dislike Muslims, but they view the Saudi government as a real problem. So
yeah, Jack, former Jack of Twitter, has started a Blue Sky. It's in development. You can pre-sign up with it. Join there. But I like Twitter because there's resistors. There's a lot of people I follow. I like hearing from prosecutors, former prosecutors that are on there, and a lot of good reporters. You see the news like instantly. Something breaks. Yeah. If they see someone that's been at the grand jury room, you'll know it immediately. So that's why I like Twitter. But yeah, I mean, you can see some of the nonsense that Elon's doing, even though I don't follow him. Someone else will tweet it. But I like it for the news quick, and there's a lot of good people on there that, find your tribe.
Keep blowing his service up, keep using it, and he's still not making money. I mean, invite more customers in that don't bother to pay,
And like what General Motors already said, if it turns sideways, they ain't gonna give any money there.
They pulled their advertising already but one of the other reasons is, why should General Motors, which is coming out with their own electric cars, give any money that helps him support him in salvaging his electric car company? I mean, this is big business. This is not conscious. This is bye guy.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know why people need to advertise that much. General Motors is a brand. You don't need to push. Everyone knows.
Think about it. It's sort of like us poor readers, We read on Sunday, and we read it because we like it, and it attracts people towards us. Might get us some more reading business that's personal. But, we don't. And we get whatever money. Trust me, guys, none of us are going out and buying steak dinners on what YouTube sends us. So
No. It's grocery money.
Somebody told me it pays their heating bill occasionally if it really gets good.
Yeah, depends how many followers you got.
Us doing it this way is a choice. I demonetized. If you go to my website, there are no ads until after the election, because I didn't want their election slosh hitting my sweet spirit seekers.
I think we're already seeing that.
Oh, yeah.
There's still some issues with machines we've seen,
Mm-hmm.
intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I
few.
voted early. I already voted boho, and I just walked right in, and it's in a lovely library in a little town right near me, and they have a tea shop on the outside, which I thought was just wonderful. So I went in and did my voting, and I went in and out. I got to admit, they had 11 clerks working nonstop. You got no, it was a short line. You got in line, checked your ID, said, yeah, that'll, so you don't have to wait in the line and find out when you get up there. My ID was fine. I went in, I got my little card, found a machine to vote on, voted. Now, the problem is they do print out who you voted for, but it has got to be, I mean, bring your own magnifying glass. It's got to be the teeniest, tiniest print I have ever seen in my life. And I really went up to the guy. I said, is it okay if I turn my cell phone on just to blow this up so I can make sure? And he said, so he stood there. He didn't look at what I did. He just made sure he didn't hear a click like I was taking a picture with it. And I could see I'd voted for Beto. That's all I was concerned about because he's the only one I think they're flipping. And I've heard rumors that some people voted for Beto and they had to go up and say, this says Abbott. And so you get 3 ballots in Texas before you have to go through this whole other procedure. So they warn them, you've got 3 ballots, so make sure that this one's good. The guy went back, second ballot, voted for Beto, came up Abbott. So he just went and told the voting judge, you have to call the sheriff and come and have this machine checked. And that's how you do it in Texas. And they came and they checked it and they quarantined the machine. And the guy got to vote his 3rd ballot, which was fine.
Yeah, it's random. What I seen on Twitter, it's like some people are starting to think algorithm whatever happens like every 5 to 7 voting tries.
Mm-hmm.
The machine has a glitch supposedly. So, as far as YouTube, you get paid by ad clicks, and it depends how many people watch your video. It has nothing to do with subscribers. You can have 100,000 subscribers and get 1,000 views, and you might get $10 or less from that 1,000 views.
But the more subscribers you have, the more likely they are to push your videos out into feed to people, and then the more likely you are to have random people watch your stuff, not just your pool of subscribers.
I mean, I see certain videos that interest me, and they have 250,000 subscribers, but they only have 10,000 people watch. So it depends how many people watch.
And how long they watch. I mean, it's unbelievable. If you look at our dashboard of how they analyze your videos, you can really tell a whole lot. Like I know the age range of my viewers from what YouTube's collected about them. I know geography. I know whether I have international viewers or all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and viewing time. You can look at a video you put out and see the average people, how long they watch. Whether they just click on and watch for a few minutes, hit a like and leave, it'll all be averaged. They know. They know everything about you.
Yeah, one time YouTube called me because when I first started out, I did shows about certain information, and people would find out, and everybody else was, for the most part, at that point, doing politics that I knew of. Anyway, I found out that it was brilliant because I could have something out there and you can go back a year ago and the information's still good. So people will get into listening to me. And I had some guy who wrote me and said, you've been riding to and from work with me for 3 months, because he just got into all my videos and just listened to all of them. And so my stuff is, a couple of readers told me it's kind of brilliant because it's timeless. Like this is good for now, and it's good for you if you want to see in a week. And maybe a year from now, if Scott and I are still doing this, getting up on Sunday mornings, we can double check and see how well we did. I saw Andre Carr just did that with a horoscope. on somebody. So it's interesting from that perspective, but nobody knows how people make money from YouTube except YouTube. So
Yep.
how's the
What's that?
analyze that question for me, Scott? What are we asking?
Yeah. It's as far as about, so it's basically looking at if there's going to be people indicted after the election,
Oh,
meaning certain people may win. Let's just throw out an example. You know, the GOP wins by 2 seats, let's just say.
right.
But let's say Marjorie Taylor Greene, Boebert win, but all of a sudden the DOJ drops indictments on them that they were involved. As a scenario, what we want to know is how the House of Representatives looks after everyone's sworn in.
Right.
Whether it's 10 of cups of love or they're still fighting. Because we were getting earlier when we read on something that there's battles going on. There's still weirdness,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with the GOP narrative or whatever. So that's my thought. How is the House of Representatives going to look?
Okay.
After swearing in January.
In other words, will there be legal removals between?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
We can go there too. Will it be legal removals of someone that's won?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's just go there then.
Okay. And I'm reminding people, I don't mean to be rude, but I have to leave at right before 2 hours because I have promised someone I would read at their shop for Halloween. If you're in Dallas,
well, I think we were talking about that last week. I was seeing that one guy that Denver Riggleman said that he found 36 House of Representatives were in communications about the big lie leading up to.
So I'm going to ask if any of the 36 that were involved with that are not going to be able to be seated in January because of their activity. That makes sense to me to read.
Well, it's a little bit different with Paxton. He kind of runs it, doesn't he? How he can continue to be there. Colleen's saying about, well, look at Paxton. He's been indicted and he's still in office.
It depends on the laws in your state, and it depends on what they're charging you with. If they're charging them with treason, then it'll be different. That's like, bye-bye. There's parts in the Constitution about them committing treason.
Yeah, as far as the House, I can't think of anyone that's been indicted or whatever that, you know, is still there. Everyone else has always left after major indictments and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Matthew Cawthorn certainly rolled off the scene as fast as he lost.
Yeah.
He hadn't been back. He's just collecting his salary and
he's been doing nothing.
Yeah, living with
salary. Indictments.
Okay, I got you. You want me to go?
Yeah, I'm tossing out.
I got the 10 of Swords as the end card on this reading, and that's somebody really, really getting stabbed in the back. And what my question was, will some of these 35 not be allowed to serve take swearing in January? Yeah, they're not going to be in a happy place. And it's because others have done the hard work to figure out who they are and where they are. They are not going to get their goals. The star is reversed for them because the emperor is standing up to them and stopping them. So that's 1, 2. That's the emperor and the star, major arcana, and I got 8, 9, and 10, which means when you get the higher numbers, something's rolling up to an end. I think that's when they're going to get them.
I didn't ask numbers, but I got legal justice coming everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
King and Queen of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
Who's it? Garland and Lisa Monaco. Feeling. Yeah, I think they're already in the process. Page of Swords and what they've done in the past. So your dealings, what you've done in the past, memories, da da da, and Page of Swords. Coming out with indictments, new actions, new challenges. Yeah, there's a lot. There's going to be an adjustment in the government. So Queen of Cups. I'm feeling this is like I'm representing of the House of Representatives and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Major loss. They're going to have to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
So usually the Queen of Cups is like my USA card, but in this scenario, I'm feeling this is going to be the House of Representatives. It's already in the works. And I think a lot of people know. This is the way it starts out for me. Creator, magician, offers, burden. I think a lot of people already know. They're praying they can win their seats, thinking it may get them out of trouble. So we already have their burden feelings. That's the way it started out in my full reading. They think they can get out of it by winning. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene asked for a pardon before she even was sworn in. So, yeah. There's going to be a change. Yep. So even if the universe doesn't unfortunately give the initial victory, just as a scenario, it will change later. Is what I am seeing here.
Yeah.
Back to this. How crazy is challenges going to get? We're talking about Carrie Lake. She's obviously going to deny everything and challenge everything afterwards because she's full blown crazy.
Have you ever had a deck of cards burst in flames when you were reading, Scott?
Not yet. I've had some feel like, oh, heck no, put me away for right now. It's pretty much the same thing. Just get a sense of how these elections are going to go as far as challenges and it's rigged. Oh, good Lord. That's right, Colleen. Indict them already.
Mm-hmm.
Ian feels a few GOP will win, but will be indicted in 100%. I kind of like that. Definitely, Kevin. Stay grounded. It's going to be a circus through December at least. Carrie Lake is telling women, we are beneath men. Ouch.
That's how the whole thing starts, isn't it?
Matt Gaetz, he will be indicted.
Yeah.
Guarantee that one.
I've got, when the Republicans get to this point, they're going to realize, look what happened to us. Our tower fell apart. And they're really not preparing for that. They think they're going to sweep and win.
Ooh.
It's going to happen because they made stupid choices.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. And there's going to be a new rod of justice thrown down on them, and it's going to cost them as far as money and messaging for money. So let them challenge. They can do what they want, but it's only going to blow up in their own faces.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, they're gonna drift off of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna grift off of it too. the devil, wheel of fortune, and grifting.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna ask for money. Oh, I'm gonna challenge it like 45 did, but it ain't gonna end up well. Everything will be balanced out in the end. With the courthouse, so ignore the noise. It's all gonna come out positive in the end with the balancing, the courthouse justice, as it should be. But it's gonna be crazy. The law might have to actually get involved in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be crazy dark times. Ignore the noise, but yeah, it's like some of these people are going to be like, "Oh, I need money to fight the election." Oh, Christ!
I think people are going to find. People do get burnt out on this shit. I mean, you
What?
can. They really, and that's why a lot of people. I know when they're going door to door and they're talking to people about what's making them nuts. It's it's that it just never stops and that he never stops. Trying to figure out which one of my phones is talking to me. Wait a second.
So you master player over there with 8 different phones. You got a few burner phones, Nancy?
No, what? Not one's burner. Actually, one is so that when I have to talk to clients, they have a phone number they call. Then I have another phone that is like my friends and family that I can answer in the middle of the night. The other one turns itself off at 10 o'clock and doesn't come up till the next day.
Ah.
And I did that when I was doing lots and lots of grids, and I had sometimes 30 and 40 people waiting on things. And I found that it may be a little more expensive each month, but it's worth my sanity. Just diving in and out of our chat is fascinating. I just found out someone does a lot of canning. I don't remember us discussing that.
Oh, nice.
Anyway.
Florida judge ruled DeSantis to turn over records. Yep, I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
He failed to comply. Yeah, I did see that too. He hasn't turned over everything.
He has no reason not to turn it over.
Yeah, so the state is appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Will the Satan lose? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the IRS is going to go after 45. I don't see the Georgia thing hitting indictments till after the new year. They're still trying to get Graham to testify and other people. And the special grand jury is just, receiving information. And then you need another grand jury to indict.
But that happens if they've got their case tight, which they would when they carried in there, that'll happen quickly. It won't be a long deliberative process. That's why they have special grand juries.
She's already said, 15 people are already got a target letter for being the fake electors.
Mm-hmm.
I think she said that special ends in April. So, I mean, this feels like it's still a long process with there. But anyway, let's see what the cards say just in case.
Okay.
Adderall, Yeti's mine. DeSantis is going to lose.
Yeah, I did one card.
I got disaster, and he's going to have to.
Mm-hmm.
Disaster for him.
Oh, poor baby.
Poor DeSantis and the chariot. He's going to have to get over stuff. Oh, he'll probably go to the Supreme Court over his records.
See who's still sitting on the Supreme Court then. We got the 3 of Cups. They're all going to have to take all their information and pour it into the judge's cup. So give it up to DeSantis.
Yeah, I don't see that man winning either.
Well, what they're doing, I know from talking to somebody on the ground in Florida, they're withdrawing all the restrictions they put on polling places in any of the Republican counties that were hit by the hurricane, but they're not extending the same privileges to the Democratic counties.
Oh, just
And
a quick one.
so that's already headed to the courts too.
Teresa asked a long time ago. Kevin McCarthy is not being cool. He joked about the Pelosi thing. So have other GOPers. No one's really came out and condemned it.
Mm-hmm.
McConnell had a somewhat nice. McCarthy's been lying the whole time. He's never faced any consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Teresa's wondering if any karma consequences for McCarthy about this not being a nice human.
About being a jerk?
Yeah, Youngkin too. He was. Boy, did Virginia make a mistake there.
Yeah. He doesn't ever reflect or look back. He just moves on.
He's a grifter.
I got no, because no one's going to push it. No one's going to take it to its logical end. The only thing that's going to finally hit it is when temperance more or less starts to rebuild in our thing. But it's going to make anybody love him more, but they're not going to go after him for it.
No, I don't see any. This is telling me it isn't going to matter. He's going to lose. He's not going to be Speaker of the House.
Mm-hmm.
It's just first thing comes out is about money. He's trying to get all the money he can, but this is the devilish ideas, and he's going to lose. You're not being a compassionate person. In the end, love always wins. The truth will come out. Love will always win. McCarthy is going to have a tower. Eventually, all this stuff he's been doing and lying is going to kick him in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Karma always wins. The Wheel of Fortune always wins. The Circle of Life always wins. 45 got away for a long, long time being, but he's going to lose. Eventually, he's going to lose. He will be indicted. He will lose everything. His kids are going to lose. The company will be dissolved. Ivanka will be working at Walmart. Don Jr. may be in a detox facility forever. Whatever the case may be.
He's going to have to stop using her. That won't even be relevant. He'll be dead.
Yeah, he looks horrible.
I went to college when it was drug, sex, rock and roll, and acid had just really hit the university. And it was really, you could kind of see them fading away before they went. And I mean, I knew people who died in college because their bodies weren't built to handle what they were putting in it.
Yeah, okay, let's look. I haven't looked at that. Is McCarthy going to win his election?
You know that his campaign district has the highest murder rate. It's got the worst record for murders in the country.
Bakersfield area? Yeah. It's just scary, all these deep red areas.
Well,
it's
and they lie to them and they say, it's worse over there. And if people have never, that was the other thing, my little Trumpy friend, he said, well, if you grew up in Chicago, do you have a gun beside your bed? I said, okay, that's a giant leap. I moved here in 1967. So, but, yeah. And I said, no, why would I have a gun next to my bed? Well, when people break in, I said, do they break in around you a lot? Because they don't break in where I live. I have 3 vicious cats, 2 of whom are declawed that'll tear them to shreds.
Yeah, I looked up, out of curiosity, I looked up Louisiana Senate race.
Mm-hmm.
That Kennedy?
Kennedy, yeah.
Total clown. Websites, polling, whatever, give him a 99.9% chance of winning.
If they're in Louisiana, they do?
Yes. That's just crazy. The man is insane. He has no platform. He doesn't talk. His latest someone posted his video, I don't know, it was Twitter or on CNN or something. His ad was just bonkers. It's like, is there that many people that don't care about people who are working for them?
Have you ever been to Louisiana other than New Orleans?
No. Never been.
It makes you proud to be a Texan. So I'm just saying.
I think that's where Sherry lives. Sherry by the swamp lady?
Yeah, swamp. Yeah, she lives in an area that's like a swamp area. Yeah.
Oh, that's nuts. Okay. McCarthy.
He's going to lose. He's riding for a bruising. He just thought he could hang on with what he'd done. He's done nothing towards planting new ideas for people to think about. He's had all the money in the world. And those are all yeses. Will he lose? The only one that's a no is at the end. If he loses, he's never leaving Washington. He's going to stay as a lobbyist.
Weird. I got a lot of lost cards too. Wow.
Yeah, I was shocked when I put them out because my first four were all, my question is he going to lose? And I saw.
Well, whatever the outcome is, it's a major loss.
Yeah.
I got all my major loss cards in the end here. Look how sick everything is. Broken.
Yep.
Internally and whatever, there's a lot of pain going on. He's trying to change the narrative, but I have 5 of wands, 5 of swords here. That's a lot of battling and bad energy going on. He may even be worried for his own race. And then I have the devil between the Knight of Cups and the Hierophant, the governmental card, which is really strange too. Like, oof, I don't know how to take this, but it's showing a huge loss somehow, some way. Wow. So it can be a rebirth in the government, better protection coming in here for his seat or something, but there's a lot of bad stuff going on there. I can't imagine. That's crazy if he would actually lose.
Why?
I mean, for how long he's been there?
That's what they're saying. You know, women don't care if we take away their personal rights.
True.
Really?
That would be a lesson.
Oh, a law for those of you who are wondering, in Texas law, I know that no one can stand near or by you when you cast your ballot. They can't be within line of sight of when you're voting. We used to have a lot of husbands that would show up with their wives when I ran the polls, and they'd want to stand with their wives while they voted to make sure they were voting the family line. I wouldn't let them do that at my polling place. And I had one old guy, he said, "You can't stop me." And I pulled up my phone and I showed him where I had the sheriff's department on speed dial. And I said, "This call will mean you'll be walked out of here for obstructing this poll." I said, "Now you go sit at the back of the school auditorium." And his wife came by when she handed me when she put the ballot in the counting box. She said, "Thank you." So you can't have it. So if you see any of that happening, go up and tell. Also, a friend of mine went to the polls the first day and said, the Stepford wives were in the polling place. And I said, "What do you mean?" And there are 2 women that I was surprised. This person's so young. I'm surprised they even knew what a Stepford wife was. But they said because they were younger, this woman kind of stood near them while they were standing in line. And it really bugged him. So he went up and said, to the polling, he told the woman to go away. He said, "I've worked around polls my whole life. My family's involved. You're not supposed to be standing so close to me. You're intimidating me." She said, "No, I'm not. I'm just, get away from me. I'm telling you, get away from me." And so then he went up at the end after he voted and told the poll manager that this woman was acting in a threatening way that shouldn't happen, and explained, I grew up in polls. I know how this works. So when another friend went to the same polls later in the afternoon, there was only one Stepford wife. So do speak up for yourselves, because if they're doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing, that's the only way we get them out of there.
Crazy.
I can take your show back now, Scott. So you can.
Hi, Gene. So yeah, we can shut it down since you gotta go. I gotta take my dog out. Family's coming home from vacation.
Oh, cool.
Gotta get the house kind of presentable when the family comes home.
Oh, cool.
Hey,
I'm going to pull an oracle card to end it.
You get less views too when it goes long.
Yeah.
Want to come back
people are going through, what can I listen to while I'm driving from here to there? And they see 2.5 hours and they go, oh my God, no. I know, because I'm guilty of the same thing. I'm going to pull an oracle card from the aliens.
No.
Cellular and DNA memory. Activate your nucleus. Here we go. Activate your nucleus. And I'm going to pull a nice thought from the gateway to light activation, because I think we need to be all activating light. This is the Kyle Gray oracle book. Okay, it says it's the Venusian Galactic Council. Didn't know they existed. Yeah, star being guides, answer the call. It is now your time to shine. So I'm gonna try to get. It's a real pretty, but it's just like this card calls us to turn on our inner light. And the first alien deck I pulled said, tie into your DNA nucleus and spread the energy out. So this is all, it's all in our own energetics. Don't tie into the crap. Don't watch the news. You'll be a happier person.
Well, the message I'm getting is make sure you release everything from the past.
Mm-hmm.
A better future comes when you release.
I love him.
Peace. Mm-hmm. Archangel Azrael, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let go. And then I have, it's a time for celebration and abundance. A situation is going to end soon.
Yeah, I love that Ton of Michaels. I'm bowing out. This is done. This is our swan song.
I think good things are coming for us. A lot of this chaos is eventually going to end. So just have faith. Let it go from the past. Anyone that's crazy. But yeah, that's a wonderful one. In peace.
You know what that card is in the traditional deck?
13. What is that?
Death.
Judgment?
Death.
Oh, that's death card? Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Because as Radley says, that's the ultimate peace when you don't have to fight with it anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, people are asking about my daughter. No baby yet.
Yeah, you think you wouldn't have all kinds of balloons and things hanging on behind them? It looked like a baby shower.
Yeah, I'd have pictures. I've had excitement. Her original due date given was 11/5. So, but then she had appointments. She started dilating. Everything was looking good, but nothing. So the baby's going to come. She's going to come. My prediction I was hoping was next Thursday, actually. So we'll see if that happens. But no baby, no grandbaby yet. She's feeling uncomfortable, but no contractions. So we wait. Another thing about patients.
the message for this week is Scott really needs to have a grandchild born.
Yes. Get that anxiety. I
And,
want to see her.
and if you guys want to help the energy to move that along, go vote.
Vote if you can early. I'm
Yes.
going Wednesday.
And almost every place that has early voting. Yes, Jill Sleuth, I will be back at Dolly Python's today from noon to 5. I want to talk about astrology rising. She came by and visited me yesterday. She's the lady that makes those beautiful copper feathers. And we had a lovely long talk. It was a wonderful day. And I wish someday Scott will come down and he can read with me at Fractious. Have you ever read Live Table?
No.
Oh, it's fun.
Just friends. I've been checking out some TikTokers that do it, and it just looks chaotic to read on TikTok.
Oh, to read on TikTok? No.
Yeah,
TikTok is also another thing I don't do. I looked at it, looked at the mechanics, and I decided, even though I have a degree in broadcast film, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it just looks nuts.
And really, everybody vote, 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 vote.
Perhaps.
Yeah, if the baby's born on Halloween, you'll never have to worry about a party for him.
There you go. Just take it out candy trick or treating.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
And I hope if you've already had your Halloween, because I think last night was a big night for Halloween most places, since you don't have to go to work the next day. I hope you had a lovely one.
You too.
Oh, Scott, you got the article I sent you about how this group did a study of referendum wording on ballots.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually written every year it rises 1 year in reading comprehension. It's now at 19, meaning you, in order to truly comprehend that, based on the average American vocabulary, you have to have 19 years of education to be able to and I remember I told you I have friends for a living. They make yes mean no and no mean yes. So
that's what they did in Kansas.
I know. So in Ballotpedia, if you go to Ballotpedia, they break down all of the things that are on your ballot for this election that are referendums or other kinds of things, and have them. If you can go and read it in plain English, so you'll know if you're voting yes means no and no means yes. It's a cruel, horrible game they play. Yes, prayers for South Korea. They have a bad neighbor. They live in a tough neighborhood.
Voted by mail, done and over with, just like having a baby. Now we wait.
True.
Very good.
Very good.
Well, thank you all. Blessings. Thank you, Nancy,
Thank you all, and
lovely
see you next
conversation.
week.
And you bet. Love to all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.